all this content planned for my channels, for my socials, and then I got sick, and it was like a doozy. I was wiped out. I couldn't even read because my eyes would just keep blurring. That's a travesty. So I'm back, and I'm just gonna combine all the book content. So I've got a haul and a couple of reviews, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, like and subscribe, please. And leave comments below if you've read any of these, or these are ones you want to read, or you're not interested in any of them. I don't know. Just, talk to me. Okay, so here we go. So, getting into the first book. So, a lot of these are all of these. Yeah. It's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. So, it's just a mini haul. It's not some huge haul. But all of these are BookTok popular, BookTube popular, and I appreciate that. Because here's the thing. A lot of people are like freaking out that BookTok is ruining literature. It's ruining reading. There are bigger things to worry about. Get a life. Like, it's just not that serious. It's just like, recommending a popular song because you love it. You find a song, you love it. That's how things become popular. Somebody liked it and they shared it. They told about it. Whatever the case. You find what you like. If you don't like it, you move on. Okay? But for me, the books that I have been finding because of BookTok and BookTube, I have been enjoying, and anything I haven't, I DNF it. But I did pick up some other ones that I was curious about, and hopefully I will like them, because here's the thing. I have started all of them. I always start my books, like when I first get them, I will read maybe like a page or two to kind of get a feel for the story and the writing. It's the Book of Azrael. This one is very, very popular. You will hear about it a lot right now. And I believe it's a completed series. I think it's just 3 books in this one, in the Gods and Monsters series. And I read just like the first page or so, and I am a little curious, so hopefully, prayerfully, this holds up and it's actually good. But if you don't know what this one's about, this is about a woman who's a dragon shifter, and I believe she enters into a contract with an entity to spare her sister's life, I believe is, the details that I've heard. And she attracts or turns the eye of a god. And he falls for her and becomes her, I guess, her partner in crime while she's on a revenge kick. And so that's as far as I know, and I'm not even sure if that's 100% accurate. Some books I like to kind of go in not knowing too much. And this one, I just was like, okay, it sounds interesting. I'm not going to keep watching reviews on it. I just keep hearing that people are really enjoying it. So hopefully I will love it. I plan to read this book this month in April. But I'll be getting to this book. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I will like it. Then I got one to make me cry. Because I wanted something that was going to move me. Something that was just like a beautiful story that I could really get involved in and tug the heartstrings. But apparently this one does more than tug the heartstrings. It's going to yank them out. And that is The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. If you heard her name before, you're like, where have I heard it? She wrote the Empyrean cycle, the Empyrean series, the Fourth Wing and all that. But she was writing, contemporary romances and things before that. So that was her first foray into fantasy, or romantasy. Well, this is one of her popular books, and it's about a woman who lost her brother. He's a soldier, and he dies, but he wrote a letter, I'm guessing to his friend, or one of his, a fellow soldier, asking his friend to watch out for his sister. She's raising twin boys alone. And so that's as far as I know. And I got that from the back. And the two of them are going to meet, and apparently he's gonna try and insert himself into her life and be there for her. I don't know, what's going to happen. I just know that a lot of people love this story, and I do like her writing. So hopefully I will like this and enjoy this thoroughly. So we'll see. Then I got the first 2 books in a series that I swore I wasn't going to read. I said I was not going to read the ACOTAR series because I read halfway through A Court of Thorns and Roses a few years back, and it wasn't bad. I just was bored. So I put it down. Now, I did read Crescent City. Oh, before that, even before A Court of Thorns and Roses, I read Throne of Glass, the first book. Read it all the way through, and the whole time I just thought she was stupid. I was not impressed by the lead character. And I tried to read Assassin's Blade a couple months ago and just DNF'd that. I was like, well, I can't get into Throne of Glass. I don't know what it is, but I just don't like the main character, at least not in the first book. So I wasn't interested in picking up A Court of Thorns and Roses, swore off Throne of Glass, but I did read Crescent City, the first 2 books, and I really enjoyed them. I figured I'd stop there because the third book kind of lets you, well, the way book 2 ends, it lets you know that the third book is going to blend her worlds, and I was like, well, I haven't read them. Now, this isn't why I picked up A Court of Thorns and Roses. The reason I did was because every time I see it in the stores, it just always catches my eye because I love the bright, vibrant colors. And I was like, well, maybe if I just push through. Because I keep hearing that the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury, is like really, really good. And I do like the Crescent City, so it's not necessarily her writing. Throne of Glass is not for me. And I got bored with A Court of Thorns and Roses, but maybe I just need to give it another try, like a real go. So I got the first 2 books because I love these hardcovers. Saw them in the store, couldn't pass them, and I was just like, you know what, let's just give it a real try. So I am committing to reading the series, and hopefully I will love it as much as everyone else or more. Let's just try. We're going to try. I'll go to another one that I'm not sure of. I did start this one and I've gotten to chapter 8. Another City of Gods and Monsters. This is actually the title of the first book, but the series is called House of Devils. And this is by Kayla Edwards. I'm hearing a lot about this series and the main male character and how he's just swoon-worthy. And here's the thing. Some of the ones that have been hyped, like Fourth Wing and When the Moon Hatched, they were so hyped, and the main male character is just everything. And I finally read them and was like, I totally agree. So I keep hearing the same about Darien Castle. And I'm like, okay, is it really going to be good? I did start it. I've gotten to chapter 8, and I'm not convinced yet. But to be fair, he just got on the scene. So I'm just kind of like, is this going to be a good story on top of him being this like crush-worthy guy to read about? So I don't know. I'm really got my fingers crossed hoping, because right now it's just kind of interesting, but it's not holding me. I don't know if I'm going to finish this in April, because like I said, I always read a little bit to see how I feel. So that's why I read as far as I did. But I might get to it at least in May, because I do want to know, like, is it really good? So we'll see, because I know that book 2 and 3 people really love, but I'm wondering if book 1 is gonna like bring it. And if you don't know what this is about, this story is about a girl who, she lives in like a magical urban world, right? And women are being abducted on the street. And after she is nearly abducted, basically she meets Darien Castle and he agrees to be her bodyguard. And the story kind of really kicks off from there. And I mean, I left out a detail or two because I don't want to ruin it for someone who's might be gonna read this. but that's basically the gist. And then the last book I got, this one I actually am excited for. And here's the thing, I'm excited for a really stupid reason. Or at least it's just not the typical reason, I don't think. So, if you know anything about Magnolia Parks, you know that it's a very, very popular series. It's on like every shelf of every booktuber, book talker. Well, I wasn't really that curious about the story. Like every time I would hear the story, they would say, oh, it's Gossip Girl set in London. Well, I didn't watch Gossip Girl. I wasn't a fan. I didn't try to watch it. So I've literally only seen like one episode of that show. And nothing about it appealed to me. However, the covers of the books, not the US covers, I actually hate those. I'm like, what is that? Every time I would see the UK covers on people's shelves, they just looked so beautiful to me. They look like art. And I was like, I want those covers. Like, I don't even know if I'll want to actually read the book, but I want the covers. So I checked out the book, the first book, Magnolia Parks, from the library. And I read, my rule for the library is, if I get a book and I read like 2 or 3 chapters and I know that I like it and I'm going to want this book, because I reread books, I'm going to want it, then I have to stop reading, return it to the library and go buy the book. And that is my rule as of the past 2 months or so, because over the past year, I've read quite a few books from the library that I want them, I love them, but I didn't buy them and they're not on my shelf. And every time I think about them, I'm like, oh, I don't have it. I need to go buy it. So it makes me angry every time. Like Funny Story and the books by Talia Hibbert, the Brown Sister books, on and on. So anyway, back to Magnolia Parks. I checked it out from the library, read the first 2 chapters, and there was a moment in the second chapter that really just stuck out to me. It's a moment where the main male character, BJ, is looking at Magnolia and he says, have you ever had someone stare you dead in the eye wearing all the ways you hurt them? And I don't know, it was something about that statement that was just like, wow, yeah, that would be a painful experience. So it just made me, now I'm curious about the series. So I decided I'm going to read it, but I don't want the US covers. And I was like, how do I get the UK covers? Because I heard that once they got picked up by a traditional publisher, you couldn't get them anymore. Well, I posted about that on Fable, where I post my reviews, and this girl commented and told me where I could order it. And so I got my hands on the UK cover for Magnolia Parks, and I'm so happy. I opened this and I was like squealing, because this is everything. And I can't wait to get the other books in the series. And if you don't know what this is actually about, like I only gave you like a little glimpse, but what this series is about is 5, or it might be more than 5, but either way, a group of London socialites. They're a close-knit group of friends. And the main couple in that group of friends is Magnolia and BJ. And you get the sense that they loved each other very deeply at one point. They still do, but they're not together technically anymore. But it's this very codependent situation where it's like, we're not together. We keep hurting each other, but we can't be apart. And because their friend group is so important to them, they really can't be apart. It's like they just won't untangle their lives. And so you wonder how they got to this point. And that's all I know. I know that there are like 3 books about Magnolia and BJ, and the 3rd book kind of like finishes their story. And then the other 2 books so far are about their friends, I think Christian and Daisy. And I think there may be one more book coming out in the series, and that might be the end. But right now, I think it's just the 5, and I'm going to start Magnolia Parks probably next week. And let's talk about my most recent reads. At least the ones that I finished. Because there are quite a few that I started, and I just was not in the mood for it. And I just kept putting down book after book after book. And it's like, Sharice, read the book. Read a book. Any book. Just read one. And stop starting all these books and not reading them. So, I'm going to go with the older one, because I don't recall if I did a video reviewing these books. So here we go. The Rage of Dragons. So this book is recommended a lot by Smitty here on BookTube. And he talks about it over on Book Talk, all his socials. And I just kept hearing about it, and I wanted a good book for the month of February that was like a black fantasy. And because the ones that I've been exposed to just weren't doing it for me. So I picked this book up. I went in pretty much blind. I didn't know really what this story is about. So if you've never heard of The Rage of Dragons, this is a Xhosa inspired fantasy world. And in this, the Omehi people are fleeing some major tragedy that happened in their homeland. I think they call it the culling. However, we don't have much detail into what actually transpired, at least not in this book. There is a second book. I haven't gotten that one yet. And all we know is that they fled it, they took to the ships, and they followed their dragons to a new land. But when they get to this new shore, it's occupied. And war breaks out because the native people do not want them there. And they can't go back where they came from. And it was such a harrowing journey that they're like, listen, we're taking this shore. So war breaks out, and that's in the prologue. Fast forward 100 years, and there's not peace, not at all, not by any means. But they've settled into the land somewhat. But they're still at war with the natives. And the main character in this story, his name is Tao. He is what's considered a lesser in they have a caste society. I always say caste, but caste society. And he's like second to the lowest tier. And in this like world, the nobles are, not only are they wealthy, but they're like bred for like speed and strength and everything. And he and his father help train with the nobles to prepare them for like battle and things like that. Well, he ends up having a run-in with a noble, and the results are disastrous, and it leads him on this revenge arc. You have never read a more determined, a more fixated, a more obsessed, reckless character than Tao. I was so emotionally drained after reading this. I was like, I need a break. I could not go right into book 2 because he would not let up. From the moment of the occurrence to the end of this book, which ends on a cliffhanger, you're like, dude, he does not chill. If it means I'm going to die, if my heart gives out, I'm not stopping. And so this was an action-packed, gritty, visceral, bloody story of determination. And I can't wait for book 2. It was very good. There's a bit of a romance in there, and it's done well. So yeah, this was a really, really good story. I definitely going to get my hands on book 2, which I believe is called Fires of Vengeance. I'm going to get that probably next month. But I just really I enjoyed every second. But this was one where I could not put it down. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So this is a good one. I'm going to save my favorite for last. Then recently, the favorites that I'm saving for last, because I only have 2 more series here. The favorite series put me in a book slump. Like, I was in a slump. I just wanted to be back in that world. And I don't know when the next book is coming out. There's rumors that it's May, but it's like, can we just get it, please? Don't tease me. And apparently it's been teased for a while. Well, anyway, reading that series put me in a slump. And the only books that actually caught my attention and kind of pulled me out of that slump was this series. I don't know why I always have them backwards. But the Woven Kingdom series by Tahereh Mafi. Now, I have been curious about this. This is young adult. I've been curious about it every time I see like the covers in the stores. But I wasn't like anxious to get it. However, Raven Haired Reader here on BookTube, she was talking about this series most recently, like in I think her last 3 videos, talking about how good this series is. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just give it a try. So I picked up the first book. Now, if you don't know what this is about, it is a kind of like a young girl. Her name is Eliza. Completely forgot her name. Eliza, and she is the lost queen of her people. And her people are very second-class citizen in this world, and she is living as a servant to get by. Now, she knows she's the lost queen. She's very much aware of it, but she has no choice. And so she's living as a servant to get by, and she has a run-in with the royals of the country where she lives. And the thing is, there's this big prophecy about her people and that she may bring about the fall of the throne. And so it's like she's definitely living in a high stakes situation. And that's where book 1 really kicks off. There is a love story. And I will go ahead and tell you, there's a love triangle that I did not see coming. I didn't know there was going to be a love triangle. And this is called the Woven Kingdom series. The way Tahereh Mafi wrote this series was so beautiful. I mean, it's not finished. This was just the most recent book. But the way she wrote this story is so beautiful that I started out wanting Eliza with one character and ended up completely changing my mind. And this is the ultimate in slow burn for that reason, because you really don't get the satisfaction you want from the romance yet. You're just kind of like, oh, come on, I want them together. So the first book is called This Woven Kingdom. The second book is These Infinite Threads. And the third book is All This Twisted Glory. This is a very enchanting tale and kind of innocent and beautiful, but it does have like a little bit of a dark side. So don't be surprised like I was, because there's an appearance of, I'm just going to tell you, the devil. And I did not know that was going to be in there. And so there's like a scary moment pretty early in the first book. And I was just like, oh, what? Because that's kind of like a fear of mine of what happened. I'm like, oh, no, what's going on? It's kind of like a Rumpelstiltskin kind of thing. But she definitely surprised me with that part. But the story is definitely one that it's gripping and it's beautifully written. And I cannot wait for the resolution, because I really, really need Eliza to end up with the person I want her with. So this is a good one. Check these out. And I think I read these over like 3 days. And now for the final series that I will not stop talking to people about, because they were everything. And that is the Boys of Tommen series. Binding 13, Keeping 13, Saving 6, Redeeming 6, and Taming 7. Oh my God. I did not expect my top favorite books in the world. And I've been an avid reader since I was 6 years old. My top favorite books in the world have been Harry Potter. I read that as an adult and fell in love with those stories. And they hold a special place in the heart of my family. Like, I'm talking about my whole family, like my mom, my cousins, my sister and her children, because we read them as a family. So the Harry Potter series has been my top favorite series since I read that, and that was like 2010, 11. Then my second favorite is The Wheel of Time, and we're talking like just next to Harry Potter. The Wheel of Time. Absolutely love that series. Think about it a lot. And then my third favorite is this series called The Black Dagger Brotherhood by J.R. Ward. Not all the books, but the first 8, definitely love those. That's been the ranking order of my favorite books for so many years. So I did not think that would ever change. And then Miss Chloe Walsh introduced the world to the Boys of Tommen. And these have bumped my favorite books. I actually rank these over Harry Potter. And that, for anyone who knows me, knows that that's a big deal. I am a Harry geek. If you look above my head, let me see if I can show you. It is nothing but Harry paraphernalia up there. I've got the Half-Blood Prince's wand. I've got Harry as a piggy bank. Luna Lovegood's glasses. I've got the illustrated edition of the book. So it is serious. I love Harry Potter. But these just bumped them. I love a story that pulls you in, breaks your heart, puts it back together, breaks your heart, puts it back together. I was like, I can't even handle the emotional ride this series took me on. So if you don't know anything about the Boys of Tommen series, I'm going to tell you right now, get it. You don't even need to know anything about it. However, check your trigger warnings because they're all in here. All of them. All the triggers, all the things, they're in here. So this series is about a girl named Shannon, and she's starting at a new school mid-year because of something that occurred at her previous school. And she has a crazy run-in with the star rugby player of the school named Johnny. And because of their crazy run-in that they had, they start this like burgeoning friendship. And he realizes she's very like delicate. There's something about her that makes him kind of want to protect her and be there for her. And he starts digging into her history and her life and finds out she does need protection. And it's not just like a damsel in distress kind of story. Just trust me on that. It's so much more. Because it's not just Shannon who's going through. You've got her entire family. You've got other people that are in this because there's a found family group of friends in this series that all of them have something they're struggling with, something they're dealing with. But the Lynch, Shannon, her family, the Lynch family, what they're going through is kind of like central in the first 4 books. And my God, it is a roller coaster. But you do need to check your trigger warnings because you've got physical abuse, severe physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal, sexual, at least in the later books. You've got, addiction and alcoholism and just it's a lot. Like this group of people have gone through a lot, and their stories are interwoven and things like that. They're a close-knit group, and the way Johnny loves Shannon is just absolutely beautiful. But on top of that, as much as you love Johnny and Shannon, which is the first 2 books, Binding 13 and Keeping 13, I love these 2, but Saving 6 and Redeeming 6, these were the books that stole my heart because these 2 books are about Shannon's brother, Joey. And Joey is just the character that you just want to give him a hug. You're like, you just want to hug him and let him know that he's worthy of love. He's worth something. He's a good person. Like, you just want to encourage this guy because he goes through so much just trying to be there for his family. And we're talking so much. And so the couple in this story, Joey and Eve, They are my favorite. I absolutely love them. I cannot, like, I think about them all the time. Like, Joey and Eve live in my mind rent free. Like, I love Johnny and Shannon, but it's Joey and Eve for me. And then even the final book that's out so far is Taming Seven, which is about one of the central friends in the group, Gibbsy, and the girl he loves, Claire. And some people weren't as interested in this. I was like, give me Gibbsy's book. I care about Gibbsy. Gibbsy has been there for everyone, and I want to know what's going to happen. So this series just like, it just took over my life for the entire time. I think I read these in like a week. And the entire time I was reading these, I was just like, this was what all I could eat, sleep, and breathe. I wouldn't stop talking about them, crying about them, and just being like, oh my God. So I know we get the continuation of Gibbsy's book. I think they're saying May. Whatever the case, if we never get it, these will still be my favorite books. I recommend these to anybody who loves a really good story, that loves a good found family, that loves romance and can handle real life trauma and drama. This series, Finding 13, The Boys of Tommen, everything. It's everything. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my reviews and my book haul. And I'll be coming back with some reading vlogs and some more of my hobbies and goals videos. Those will be like diary entries, because I am really working on my memory champ exercises and my language learning and my physical fitness. So I hope you stick around for that. And like I said, like and subscribe so I know you're here with me and you want to see more. All right, bye.